Hear how melancholy it is. Alright, I'm done because you're a tough crowd.
It sounds like a bunch of off-key stuff.
It was my emotions. It's how I've been feeling. Obviously, you're not in tune with your emotions in art, in abstract art and stuff. You don't know anything about choir or pianism, or you don't know anything. I literally helped produce Kendrick's album. It's real hard to get things done. I'm gonna be honest with you. Did I shower yesterday? No. I cleaned my room though. I want to go out. I want to leave the house today, so that gives me the opportunity to make myself look cutesy. All week I've just been rotting. And then my eyebrows come in. Eyebrow update. Do y'all care? I'm sorry. Every time my brother comes in my room, he wants me to put a vinyl on for him. Beyonce is already on, so I guess I'll just put that on. I know. He's about to get crunk. We're getting into it. Oh, I swear he's on beat. Oh! So, let's get to just doing my makeup. And I'm going to talk, I guess, a little bit. I don't know. I'm a little disgusted. I'm going through a lot right now. I don't know why. I just look so... I thought that not wearing makeup for a little bit was actually going to do wonders for my skin. I'm so sick. I already started.
Bath?
Yeah, it's for bath time. Sorry. I hope it doesn't disturb you. I'm probably going to cut it out anyways, because I've always had no shame about burping, but my little sister always has, and I don't understand that because, like, yes, I'm burping, but she farts a lot, and it's like, I feel like farting is a lot worse than burping. Like, some people are so disgusted by burping. They're like, it's so foul. You know what is foul? Like, Lovely Peaches. I didn't know that's where that was going, but Lovely Peaches, that's foul.
At the end of the day, I know people are jealous of me. I have more STDs than you could ever even imagine of. You could never. Keep hating and keep being jealous because you wish you had STDs.
Worse things than burping. There are people who are literally eating their feces and period blood. There are people like Lovely Peaches out there. There are literally pedophiles out there, and you're mad that I'm burping. I don't understand the burp hatred train, and I'm not gonna be a part of it. So no, I will not be cutting that out of the video. I'm gonna make a point not to. This is how I am taking a stand. I'm not afraid to be myself. This is who I am. I hate it. I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm like, do you think I should wipe it off? No, I already started. Is that what you're saying? I'm so disgusted right now by myself. Like, I'm sorry if I feel like I don't have like the energy to even talk right now. I really don't have the energy to do anything. That's why I'm trying to leave the house and I'm trying to film videos, because I feel a little depressed, honestly. I'm a little depressed. I'm a little worried about the direction that my life is going in, to be honest, and I'm trying to have faith that everything will be okay and that I'm, safe right now in the present moment. But all I can think about is how, I don't know, I feel like maybe in a year, 6 months from now, what if I'm just like nowhere, or I'm in a box somewhere on the side of the street? I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't have any direction in my life, and it sucks. I feel like I'm kind of a nobody in this world. I mean, like, I don't know, like the moves I make while I'm here kind of just don't do anything. They don't really make any mark on the world. I don't know. But I think that's a normal feeling for 17-year-olds to have. You kind of don't know what's next, and everyone's kind of telling you. I honestly, okay, does anyone else get the feeling like our generation gets a lot of hate? A lot of hate. And I get we used to eat Tide Pods and stuff, but calm down, we're not that bad. For all of my life, people have just been telling me that I don't know what the real world is like. I don't know. You know, and as someone who has struggled, who has come a long way on this battle with mental health, I feel like you'll hear a lot of you don't know what real problems are, what real stress is. You know, just like, oh, you don't know the half of it. I used to have this idea that like I had the depression of like a 30-year-old because everyone was telling me that like I don't really truly know how bad it gets. And I was really in for it. And that scares me because I did I don't know why I did this. I never do this. But I hate my makeup so much that I'm like trying to save it. I kind of just have this idea now that I'm kind of not built for the real world. I think every adult has kind of put into my head that the real world is just this terrifying place, and it's not really made for sensitive kids such as myself. I don't know why I did this. I just look stupid. I have not used this liquid foundation in months. This is all very performative. I think it's normal if you're 17, 18, 16 even, to feel scared of what's to come because you have no idea. But a lot of my life people just have told me that like the world is a scary place that I'm not built for, even my teachers, and that's stupid. I don't know what happened to No Kid Left Behind, but recently I've kind of just felt like every teacher hates their life and they take it out on me. I don't know about y'all's teachers, but my teachers are constantly telling us that, you know, they know we're not ready, and they know that, you know, we're gonna have a rude awakening. And I just feel like no one talks about how scary it is to constantly be told that. And instead of like, you know, doing something about it or talking about it, they kind of just laugh at us for it because we're the generation that ate Tide Pods. Like, it is kind of funny. I got kicked out of my house once, like a month ago. And it wasn't because I was pregnant or doing anything. I guess I wasn't technically kicked out if I came back like a few days later, but I was arguing with my mom and she kind of just threw one of those lines in my face, like, you know, go live with your dad. I was like, I will go live with my dad. So I guess maybe I wasn't kicked out. Maybe that was just a suggestion, but I took it and I stayed there for a few days. And when you don't really know, like in my mind, I was kicked out. Thing is, though, you realize that everything is a process, okay? Quite literally, everything is a process. It's just gonna take the one day at a time mindset. Everything takes steps and it's slow. You're 17, you're 18, you're 19, you're 20. And when you're young, of course, your whole life is ahead of you. And people are telling you your whole life is ahead of you. And they want you to think that that is the worst possible thing. But I'm telling you that growing up is supposed to be a slow process. And it's supposed to be there's steps to it. They're good and bad. They're hard and easy. But I don't know. You can't really go through life with the anxiousness of, oh no, what if something happens? Because something is going to happen. It is. And that is one thing I can promise you. Something is going to happen. I'm more so afraid of being a bum in the same place. There are a lot of fake success stories. You move out 17, 18, if you have the privilege. If things don't go according to plan, I like to think that there is a plan for me and there's a plan for you. But right now, all I can kind of do is feel scared and depressed. And make these videos. Years from now, months from now, I'll be somewhere else. And I'll rewatch this video. And I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I was scared, but at least I'm not at that desk anymore. And even if I am at this desk, I don't know. At least my hair changed. The thing is, I'm not terrified of growing up. I don't want to be a teenage girl forever. I don't desire that in any way, shape, or form. I, actually admire growing old, and I want my hair to go gray and everything. People think, oh my god, like, I'm just gonna lose all my beauty, my youth, and I'm just like, y'all don't understand, like, yeah, of course we're all gonna die one day, but once you come to terms with that, I feel like the moves you make are a lot more freeing when you allow yourself to accept that. I am gonna die one day, and I want my life to be one that was well lived. But for a big portion of my life, I believed I was not going to make it in the real world. And even that's the reason why I got sent to the psych ward the second time. Like, the idea I had was that I just could not do it. And I was, for months on end, I was anxious about, like, something. It was just something that was just chasing me. And suicide is very complicated, but in my experience, anxiety played a very, very huge role in it. Because for months, I would just describe it as, I feel like I'm always moving. I'm always moving around. I was depressed. I did not feel like getting up or showering or brushing my teeth. But I had to go to work. And I had to go to school. And I had to do homework. But I don't feel like moving, so I'm not doing my homework. And of course, my grades are going to fall. And I'm going to be even more stressed and depressed about it. But I don't have the motivation to do anything about it. So then it becomes this thing of, I'm not doing enough. I need to be doing this. And even when I'm not moving, I need to be moving. Even my teeth, like, they would start to chatter because I was just so anxious. And no one could really understand that feeling of, I feel like I'm always moving. I feel like I'm always needed somewhere, and I can't do it. It became this idea, especially in my junior year, of just panic and knowing that something was going to happen. And I'm next. My older sister, when she moved out, it was not an easy process. She basically moved out like a month after turning 18, not because she wanted to, but because she felt like she had to. None of my family spoke to her when she moved out. I was the only one. And my therapist kind of told me she felt like I internalized seeing how adulthood was for my older sister, and it scared me. And that is kind of true. At that point in my life, I was just so scared of what I was doing and if I was doing enough. And I just had this idea of, I can't do it. I can't do anything. It's just one of those things where you're just, I can't do it anymore. Even when I was going to take my own life, I was just anxious, and I was scared. I was scared because this isn't something. Of course, you don't really want to kill yourself, but in my mind, it was something I had to do because I was scared of the next moment. I was just terrified. It felt like it's now. You have to do it now. You have to go now because you can't do it. Because the day before I went to the psych ward, I went into a psych evaluation. My mom pulled me out of school because I told her everything. And they told me I could just come back the next day and just tell them I'm fine and I won't have to go to the hospital because I told them I wasn't going to go. I didn't want to go only because I didn't want to take out my nose piercing. I had just gotten it re-pierced. They took it out the first time I went, and I just gotten it re-pierced after like a year. And I'm like, no, you won't be taking my nose piercing. You cannot. But, yeah, they actually didn't. They had spacers, as every psych ward should. But I didn't want to go. And the next day, of course, I'm panicking. And I don't even want to go to this appointment. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go anywhere. Even the night before, I had, like, collected all the medication. And I just sat there with it. And I broke down crying. Because it doesn't really feel like something I wanted to do, but it felt like something that had to be done. It felt like something that had to be done because I could not be a human being. That is the only way I could describe it. I felt like I was incapable of being a human. Because to me, being human meant paying bills and working for the rest of your life. And it just meant being miserable. Growing up, I didn't see the sides of life. I didn't grow up with, like, you know, the two parents in the home who love each other dearly and are incredibly happy. I grew up in a home where, you know, things are kind of just, and I quickly isolated myself in middle school, and I just became a very lonely person. I kind of lost my spark. And to me, life was that. You know, when you're sad, it feels like you're going to be sad forever. When you're happy, you think you're going to be happy forever. But on Valentine's Day of 2023, my mom had said to me that she had mentally prepared herself for me to go on my own terms. And I was like, oh. And I think that night, everything that my mom says is gospel. And I was like, oh, she's right. You know, like, people are kind of tired of hearing me complain. I was like, yeah, I think I just have to go. That's what that means. I guess I just have to go. I'm kind of stalling. But the next day, I was introduced to this new therapist. And she told me to start from the beginning. And I started from my childhood up until now. And as I was talking, started crying. And I never really had a therapist cry for me. I've never had really anyone cry for me. And I was kind of like, it's very odd. And that therapist was actually a lot better than any other therapist I've ever had. I'd actually healed. I started meditating daily. I took everything so seriously. And I'm glad I did, because it honestly opened a lot of doors for them, you know. It was like a foundation for the kind of the mindset that I kind of have today, but somehow I lost it at the beginning of 2024, and I set the date for Valentine's Day originally, but then I was like, I can't do that to people on Valentine's Day. And the reason I made it Valentine's Day, because I wanted that to be a full year of me trying my best, trying my absolute best. And if I didn't feel better by then I was right. Then this is all that life amounts to. Everything changes with time. Everything gets better with time if you allow it. It's about nurturing. And so when you set a date, you kind of don't expect things to get better, and you're looking for, you know, you're kind of just waiting around for the date to come around. You're not really trying your best throughout those things, because in your mind, like, you're going. And during those months, I was still feeling that anxiousness all the time. So of course I was not feeling better. And I talked about this in the other video when I met that guy. Of course, men will not save you. So even when that guy took me out on Valentine's Day, took me on that date, I didn't feel better afterwards. But it did give me the incentive to be like, you know what? Things change. It isn't going to be like this forever. There are still opportunities that there are still experiences that I haven't even had. And I'm only 16 years old. So I reached out to my mom one day while I was at school, and I was just feeling super anxious. It was really bad. So I just texted her and I told her about everything. Not about my date. I just told her I've been feeling the way I used to feel. She took me out and I got a psych evaluation. Like I said, they told me I could come back the next day, and obviously by the next day I was not better. I was in the bathroom. I had everything, but my mom needed something from the bathroom. So I remember I put my journal in the cabinet that had all my notes in it, and I went to my room, and I remember I just sat in the corner on the floor, like terrified, shaking. And I tried, in those final moments looking back, I want to say I tried, like I sat with my little brother for a little bit. I was standing around at different spots in the house, kind of just looking around. My mom asked me, why do you keep standing around in random spots? And she had just seen me like standing on the stairs and just looking down. And I just broke down crying, and I told her I couldn't do it. She was like, do what? I meant everything. I meant everything. Like, I cannot do anything. I cannot be a human being. Like, please, I cannot do it. I don't want to. She kind of had to just tell me that everything I'm doing is okay. I'm doing enough, and I'm going to be okay. I think that's kind of, how can you tell? Like, what do you tell a person, your daughter, at that? And I went to the doctor and I tried to lie and say I'm good, but my mom was like, no. And they ended up sending me to the psych ward. And even in the psych ward, I can do a whole other video on my experience there, because there were people trying to like kill me. There weren't people trying to kill me. Honestly, I'm not the main character. Shut up. But I'm only going to talk about two instances, two conversations in particular, I guess. There was one girl. She didn't speak to anyone. She never came down to lunch with everyone, even though, you know, she was supposed to. You're supposed to leave the unit when everyone else is. She didn't like moving around. She always wanted to be in her room. I remember one time the staff yelled at her and said, no, you're not doing this. You have to get out. She was crying. When she came to group, she was quiet. And a lot of the girls said it's because she feels like everyone is kind of talking about her when she's not around, or like planning to like jump her. Because I was ghetto. Like, honestly, I was scared people were going to jump me too. I was quiet. I didn't really speak to anyone but the one friend I had. Like, the one friend that I had made. But the quiet girl, she would walk in the hall back and forth. She would just walk. And when I'm at home, I also do a similar thing. Maladaptive daydreaming. Yes, I am, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm maladaptive daydreaming in a really, 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 really unhealthy way. Like, it's so bad. I was in the psych ward in my room walking back and forth, and they were like, hello? And I was like, but anywho, I'm a maladaptive daydreamer girly, and every single day was miserable in there. I hated it, and I stopped wanting to go to the group because they weren't even doing group therapy. They would talk about drama as if this was middle school, talk about the other mentally ill girls, suicidal girls there. So I stopped going, and I asked if I could just walk, and so I would walk with the girl, and we started talking. And I'm sorry about the music. It's really annoying, I know. I just wish there was something I could do about it. My dad is watching Dragon Ball Z. There's nothing I can do about it. Sorry. Oh my gosh. This chair. I'm sick. I'm gonna show you how I've been sitting on it the whole time. Look at this. Oh my god. Jesus. So yeah, we're just gonna ignore that, but now you know. I'm really glad I walked with her, because she was kind of similar to me. She had like a lot of attempts. I think she was at like 11. I was on my 7th. And when you see like kind of someone, when it's someone else that matters, of course, suicidal people, like, you never really want anyone else to feel what you're feeling. So when you hear someone else say it, and the thing about her, like, she was this very beautiful girl. And I just remember, like, her eyes, she just had, like, this light in her eyes. Like, whenever you just see, like, an anime girl with just, like, a sparkle in their eye, she literally had a sparkle in her eye. She had the cutest smile. She was just so beautiful, and she hated herself. She hated herself. And it's just something I could not get past. And she was just as miserable as me. But we got out on the same day. We knew that we would get out on the same day. She was there a lot longer than I was because she kept trying to actively herself while she was in there. She had been there like almost a month, and she was crying. She's like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And I had to tell her, hey girl, like, you have 3 days. You have 2 days. Girl, we leave tomorrow. It was hard. It was difficult because, like, that place was hell. It was awful, especially if you're like me and you cannot be around, like, anger, aggression. Like, there are a lot of traumatized girls in there, and it just traumatizes even further, which is a whole other video, y'all. Let me tell y'all, one time there was a whole thing just because somebody threw away their fork. But I'm pretty sure somebody stole the fork. I can't even get into it, though. The place was so bad that I think on my last day, I finally spoke up. And because there was this new girl there, kind of. And she became a part of, like, the big posse there. When I first went in there, the person doing my, like, intake was telling me, just don't fall in with, like, the bully girls. She could tell I was a sweet girl. She said, just don't fall in with the bullies. I was afraid I was gonna get bullied, but I was quiet, so no one really messed with me. But this one new girl, she was in middle school. She's very sweet. She had, like, a chronically online TikTok personality type of humor, and I like that about her. She was funny. It was just reminding me, like, just middle school. She was obviously, like, 8th grade. She got along with them, but then suddenly it was, like, a joke she made where, like, it just didn't sit right with the girls, and suddenly they're all, like, talking in, like, riddles around her, like, hey, like, some people need to learn how to wash their mouth. And she's like, oh, who? And then she even goes up to them, she's like, hey guys, if it's me, can you just tell me? Because, and they're like, no, it's not you. Which is so messed up. It's so messed up because eventually they just go, you know what? And they snap on her, and they're, like, talking to her, and she's, like, obviously this 8th grade girl who was scared. She just apologizes, and she left to go to the bathroom, obviously to cry. When she came back, she had obviously been crying. We were doing group therapy, and, like, it felt like Bad Girls Club. And I didn't understand that. And so I finally said, no one can get help here because everyone is so focused on drama. Like, this is middle school. That girl is suicidal. She came here to get help, and now she is crying in the bathroom because of what y'all did to her. Do you understand that? And those girls weren't even in there. Like, they weren't even in there because they needed help. They needed help, but in different ways, because they needed help because their parents couldn't pick them up. They had nowhere else to go. It was also just one of those places where, like, if you're underaged and, like, you're homeless, they will take you in for a little bit. And it was kind of like that. One of the girls, she was literally just there because her parents didn't pick her up the day she was supposed to leave. So it's like she was just torturing people. The woman who would do our group therapy, she actually pulled each girl to the side individually later, because we were supposed to get one-on-one therapy while we were there, and it never happened for any of the girls. I never spoke to someone one-on-one about why I came in, what was going on with me. No. So she sat with every girl individually and was like, she asked, how did you end up here? And, what can I do to best help? And I'm glad she did. It was my last day there, but she gave me my own advice. And I told her kind of just how scared I was. And of course, she just told me take it one day at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 moment at a time. Oh my God, the stool is not gonna make it. Can I just, like, oh. I mean, it's still gonna move. Who cares? Ah! Okay, the stool's done for. We had to move to the floor. But like I said, rejection is just divine direction. Divine redirection. Ignore the fact that I'm on the toilet, but I did not realize that in the video, I literally made a comment saying, at least I'm not at that desk anymore. I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I was scared, but at least I'm not at that desk anymore. And now I'm on the floor. Do you guys think that? I don't know, guys. I just think that's like a cute little coincidence. That's kind of crazy. So, I don't mind. I hope this isn't too ugly, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, so she did sit with every girl, and she basically just told me, take it one day at a time, okay? Just take your time. That is a lot. It's a lot. And just take it one day at a time, 1 second at a time if you have to. And so when I got out, I started this new journal. And I've always journaled my entire life. Ever since I was younger. It always just helped me. I would write stories about princesses with like frozen hearts and shit, and I'd write stories that were kind of just like where I was at in life. I talk about my feelings. I'd always been a journaling girly, okay, is my point. But when I got out, I just started a new journal, and I would just put one day at a time. Day one, I just put a tally mark. And I would write about how my day was going every single day. Like, no matter what was happening, I'd be like, so today in PE, today I woke up, I did this, I did that. And you know, before everything fell apart mentally, I used to do something like make sure I would do one thing every day to make sure like I had a good day. Like, this is what made my day good. But with this exercise, I was, you know, journaling throughout the day. And it put a lot of things into perspective for me that made me realize, okay, today was a good day. And I stopped believing in bad days, even if I was like, oh, this happened today. But, you know, in hindsight, or like now that I'm journaling about it, now that I'm talking about it, there's no such thing as a bad day. There's always good to see in it. And my favorite thing to do is whenever I'd have a good day that just felt like just especially good, or just, you know, I'd felt really happy, I would just declare this the best day of my life, because it just, why not? Don't wait around for something even better to come along. I'd be like, today is the best day of my life. I declare it. And it was my favorite thing to do. And I did that every single day until I wasn't doing it every day, but I was still journaling. And eventually, like, my journaling evolved into like poetry and everything, and other just creative things, and I'm really grateful for that. For my mentally ill people, if you're here, I think no matter how bad it feels, the best advice, not even advice, but just the only thing I can tell you is that it won't always be this way. It will not. Something will change. You can always count on things changing, people dying, and new beginnings, okay? It won't always be this way. But there are really horrible situations out there, and I understand that that scares you, but sometimes all you can think about and appreciate is that you're safe now, and you know, you're healthy. Hopefully. Hopefully, I hope this is all true. It won't always be this way. It won't always be glum and terrifying. It won't always be scary. You'll find your footing. And if you fall off the mountain entirely and you survive, just take all the time you need to get back up. You don't have to stand up immediately. Take all the time you need is all I can tell you. Because like I said, I'm 17 years old. I have no idea what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going on. But I'm finding it. I'm finding it. It take you that long to find it? Yes. Yes, it does. It does. This feels like overlining. Am I overlining right now? Oh, I definitely am. My lip is not right there. No, it is. Okay. I doesn't give myself enough credit. I forgot I was black. And if you're like me and, you know, you weren't just mentally ill for the summer, or, you know, you weren't just mentally ill your sophomore year, your freshman year, and it lasted like... I've been chronically depressed since about the age of 8 years old. Apparently, that is what I've been told. I'm not just making claims to flex on you guys. Sorry, don't be jealous. But if your depression was not just seasonal and it's something you've been, you know, trying to learn how to live with your whole life, I've done the medication. I've gone on and off. I'm currently off, but just know that this is your life. And even if it does not make sense to anybody else, at the end of the day, the world has to revolve around you. It has to evolve. It has to revolve around you. At the end of the day, you are the only person that matters. And it sounds selfish. It sounds the way it sounds, but it is so true, because you are the one experiencing this firsthand. You're the one feeling this and how it feels. So at the end of the day, you have to make sure you're good. And when you lay down, are you okay? It does not have to make sense to anybody else. As long as you are happy, as long as you are okay, that is all that matters to me. It's selfish, but at the end of the day, who's the one living with it? You. Life does not have to be survival of the fittest. It does not have to be survival of the fittest. I'm telling you that right now. We're lucky to be here. We are lucky. What are the chances that I'm here and I have self-awareness? What are the chances I wasn't born a fucking walking stick? Okay, what are the chances? You are lucky to be here, and I'm glad you're here.
Did you meet anybody named at your family reunion?
I don't remember people's names.
He got killed, baby. Up in Pembroke, some woman hit him with her car and left the scene. Yep, she ran. She argued with him, ran, hit him with her car and left the scene.
Birth does not have to be a curse, baby. It does not have to be a curse. And I just want you to understand that, please. Like, what are the chances that I'm kind of cute. I didn't put any makeup on my forehead, but the no eyebrows are cut. Close the door.
What door? What door?
I hope we get food on the way out.
What door?
What am I doing? What are you doing? What you doing? Why you messing with your sister?
I'm ready.
Come on.
What?
1:30.
I'm ready. I just said I'm ready.